surgery community, it seems to be prevalent. I got Gerd, acid reflux. I got a hiatal hernia. They fixed my hernia before I had surgery, but I was asymptomatic. And then started getting acid reflux throughout the years after maybe 2 years out. Then I got a H. pylori, which is a gut bug. I had ulcers in my stomach and my esophagus. Yeah, I had a real problem. And so it went away for a while, and then it came back, and then it came really bad maybe about a year ago. I went through about 6 months of night cough, not knowing what it was, come to find out. Yeah, it was acid reflux. And so I had to take a PPI for a short time. But I knew, it's sort of like a double-edged sword, because you don't want to ignore the symptoms, because the long-term effects of having reflux disease may go into a more severe case of acid reflux, and it turns into possibly some kind of cancer, or you get Barrett's esophagus, or several other things that, the stomach does. The stomach needs a certain pH. It needs to be balanced. Actually, I don't know why they call it acid reflux. And they say you have low acid. It's really the opposite. Actually, it's low acid. It's not too much acid. The stomach needs to have a balance, and when it goes off balance, you have higher bacteria in there. Some of the good bugs leave, and some of the bad bugs populate your lower intestine, or the small bowel, or then you get SIBO, and then you get all kinds of mental disorders. And there once the digestive system becomes dysbiosis, you're really into a lot of deep doo-doo. And there's a lot of medical woo-woo going around, and you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get your gut regulated. So so keep your gut happy. Don't aggravate it with too much acid reflux. And know who you're going to is really telling you the correct information. So even though your medical provider tells you something, even though I'm saying something, research it for yourself. Don't believe me. Don't believe, because they're always trying to sell you a medication to, that you're not supposed to take medication forever. The body is supposed to correct itself if you give it the right fuel and you eat the right things. I went through a period where I was eating late at night, and that aggravated things. And I had to do what I have to do, because if I don't, my body will tell me, and then I'm into a lot of serious health consequences. So I'm trying to keep this ship running smoothly. I don't want to sink. So I found this interesting. I'm going to hit link a card, this this video that has about the side effects of PPIs. I'm about ready to go out on my walk. I think it's going to freeze my giblets off out here, but we'll see.
Safe, no side effects, and they have been given out to all sorts of complaints. Anything above the waist and below the top of the head gets treated with a PPI. PPIs now, we're noting, have some fairly significant side effects. On the label right now, there are 3 warnings. One is that without acid in your stomach, you don't absorb calcium well, so there's increased hip fractures, back fractures, wrist fractures. Without acid in your stomach, you don't ionize and absorb magnesium well, so there's more cardiac arrhythmias and a fibromyalgia type state. And in 2012, they put a warning label on it. Without acid in your stomach, you lose part of your immune system. Your acid in your stomach.
That's not good.
It kills the spores or the viruses and the yeast and bacteria that you swallow. And if you're on one of these medications, that doesn't happen. In the last year and a half has been an especially bad year for the drugs because there have been 4 major articles come out. The first one was out of Canada. A large number of patients followed for over 20 years, and then they showed a 50% increase incidence in chronic renal failure. And then there was a large study out of Columbia Presbyterian in Stanford of over 20-year follow-up, large number of patients, and they showed an 18 to 21% increase incidence of heart attacks. And then very recently, there was 70,000 patients following 20 years in Germany with a 40% increase incidence of Alzheimer's. Do I believe this? I don't know. But it's very interesting that now long-term studies are showing the drugs may not be near as safe as they preached. We also see, because of you don't have acid in your stomach, there's an article that came out recently of low B12. Your vitamin B12 is absorbed by something called intrinsic factor that's only activated when there's a strong acid in the stomach. The evidence is building that long-term chronic use may not be safe. None of these drugs are approved for long-term use. And almost everybody that's on them is an off-label use, meaning against the recommendations of the physician's death register. It's a PDR book. They're only approved for 6 weeks, but yet most doctors will give you the medicine, and of course you can buy them over the counter. The warning's on the label, but most people use them for longer than what they've been approved for. The medicines also are interesting that if you try to...
So there you go, and I'll link the card. You can make your own determination, do your own research.